Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about Tsareena, the new Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. Go ahead and check out the timeline at the bottom if you want to skip around. But first, we're going to start by talking about the stats and moves. Let's do it. All right, Tsareena is a expert level melee all-rounder physical attacker. What do I agree with? Melee, the all-rounder, and the physical attacker part's true. Expert, not so much. This is a spammable champion as far as I'm concerned, and I'll show you it. Let's get down into the into more data though. Evolution data, you evolve at level 4 and level 6. Pretty balanced evolution, to be honest. 4 is helpful. 6 is great. Tsareena is the best evolution in this pile. Not unusually, but you definitely want to get to that as soon as possible. You get a huge power spike at 6. 2 different passes depending on where you're currently evolved to. Oblivious, when a hindrance is afflicted on the Pokemon, decrease the duration of its effect. Bone Sweet and Steenie. Queenly Majesty, when a hindrance is inflicted on the Pokemon, decrease the duration of its effect, same as before. After using any combination of 3 boosted attacks or moves, the next boosted attack or move will apply the Queenly Majesty buff effect to the Pokemon, not including Unite moves. Basically what this passive is you build by auto-attacking and using your abilities. It's a little bit unclear. A bar fills above your head. Once that bar is full, it actually allows you to use one of your abilities at a boosted strength. And we'll talk about that really soon here. So, basic attack. Basic attack becomes a basic attack with every third attack. It's supposed to be boosted here. Launching at a opposing Pokemon, dealing damage and lowering its defense. It's actually really good. It's a stick, right? It allows you to stick to Pokemon really easily. But your moves are on cooldown or off cooldown so frequently that it's just basically extra damage at this point. And lowering the defense is nice. It allows you to do some more true damage type damage to your enemy. You start with 2 different abilities, Razor Leaf and Rapid Spin. Let's talk about Razor Leaf first. Pelts leaves in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon hit by them. The critical hit rate of this move is higher than that of basic attacks. It doesn't stick around for very long. It's the first one that you get rid of, and it doesn't really change much for you. It's I would say Tsareena has a pretty weak 1 to 4. The jungle's a little slow. The lane isn't great, but once you get to 6, you're in some good shape here. So regardless of where you are. That then gets upgraded, evolved into Triple Axle or Stomp. Triple Axle has the user spin kick 3 times in designated direction, a bit like a Garen if you've ever played League, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon. The damage deal increases each time a kick hits, and basic attack speed is increased for a short time after this move ends by an amount based on the number of landed kicks. This is undeniably the best the best ability in this tier, and I'll tell you why, and I'll show you why. But let's just get that out of the way for first. Queenly Majesty effect restores HP each time a kick hits. That's really strong. Upgrade at level 10 is increases damage dealt. Then you can also choose Stomp. Has the user jump high and attack opposing Pokemon with its feet. When this move hits, it deals damage to opposing Pokemon and leaves them unable to act for a short time. Queenly Majesty effect restores HP when this move hits. So both of these basically restore if they're buffed. And it's pretty clear when they're buffed. So don't worry about it. We're going to see in a second what that looks like. You'll see that the total amount of damage possible is lower, but, you know, the cooldown's higher. Ignore cooldowns. Tsareena is off cooldown basically all the time, and cooldowns don't mean much to her, I really don't think. So, but the cool thing is that it does have a hindrance, which is the only one of 2 real hindrances that Tsareena has. Tsareena has 2 build paths here, basically. Kind of like a health bruiser and a more of a CC tank. So, and we'll talk more about that soon. Rapid Spin has the user spin in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits. When this move hits, it raises the user's movement speed. It's just a kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card sort of deal. It's an easy dash in the early levels. It gives you some increased movement speed, which is useful for moving around your jungle or getting to lane, but it doesn't really do much. It's pretty much a non-factor here in the early game. You then evolve that into Trope Kick or Grassy Glide. Trope has the user perform a flying kick in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and decreasing their attack speed for a short time. Opposing Pokemon that make contact with a flying kick's wave receive damage and have their movement speed decrease for a short time. Queenly Majesty effect grants the user a shield when this ability is moved. Upgrade to level 11 increases damage. So you'll see that the massive damage is pretty significant, and it's fundamentally the massive damage is just you'll have to see it when you get in there. I think it'll be more clear when you see it. It's all about where kind of the enemy is on your cursor when you're using the ability. Grassy Glide has the user slide in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and decreasing their movement speed. This is followed up by an attack in the opposite direction, which deals damage and shoves opposing Pokemon. The Queen's Majesty effect, again, is to grant the user a shield, and then the upgrade is to increase the damage dealt. So, what I want to say about this is that they're both viable, but I think you're going to find in the game that a couple of them kind of feel more like they're designed to keep you in the middle, and a couple of them feel more like you're designed to be a ninja, right? So Trop and Triple Axle, to me, feel a lot more like you're flying around the map being a ninja, and you're just kind of doing damage, and you're hardly hittable because you're moving so much and you're using so many abilities. I feel like they naturally go better together. Stomp and Grassy Glide feel to me more like you're locking down an enemy or maybe two enemies. But it's more about the CC. I do think you could probably combo them in any direction you like. But Triple Axle so greatly, I think, out damages and out heals Stomp that I think that you're probably going to pick Triple Axle unless you're going for something that's going to be consistently in the middle of a high group of Pokemon, aka more of a tank build. That's why I think Stomp is better perhaps for a tank build. So let's get in there, though. And, the Unite ability isn't showing up because it's not in the game yet, actually. Well, the Unite ability is, but the what it says isn't. Basically, it's a bit like a Yasuo ult, if you've played League of Legends. And you knock the enemy into the air, you do some damages to them, and then you knock them down to the ground. It's a sure hit. It's more of like an assassination, a finishing tool in most cases here. It's not something that I think would combo particularly well with. It's strong, but it's not something that I think like, oh, this is something that I want to use a amplifier on or anything like that. So here's the viability stats. Right now, there's no special attack or speed in there. We can assume speed's 360, 370. That's 3,700, 3,600. Special attack is probably like 220 or so. That's pretty standard for what we're going to see. Maybe even less, 120. It doesn't really matter. Special attack, you don't do any special attack damage. Don't bring any special attack on this Pokemon. So, HP, 7,298. It's pretty good. It's about 1,200 or so more than like a Pikachu. Maybe it's 800 more than Pikachu. I don't remember. The attack is pretty solid, like Charizard range. This is all Charizard range stuff. I think the defenses are actually a little bit higher than the average all-rounder. I don't believe that average all-rounders have this level of defense, to be honest. Attackers are closer to the 120, 130 mark. 400 is pretty tanky. And that's why I think the Tsareena has two main build paths. It's try to stop me now and do a ton of damage, and I want to get in the middle of everybody and just cause chaos. Let's talk about those. Let's show you the moves. All right, we're loading in here with some of my favorite items, I think, so far for Tsareena. And I just want to show you real quick basically what a lane phase would look like early on, and then we're going to go ahead and just talk about move damage and how to kind of optimize them. So I probably put, I don't know, maybe an hour or so into playing and watching different people play on the replays. So I think I've got a pretty good understanding right now. One of the things you can do here is double up your damage on your Razor Leaf. You could for Rapid Spin as well if you get a really good aim on it, but it's a really simple, really easy initial clear for Tsareena. You're not doing a lot of damage, but it's also a pretty clean, easy clear. Jungle's a little bit slower, definitely not the fastest of the junglers, but I think it's plenty fine enough. And you'll note that they do have some crit in her kit with Razor Leaf, which makes you think, probably correctly, a little bit like a Garchomp, that critting can be important for this Pokemon. We're going to talk more about that when we get to the items. I'm not using crit items right now because I think that my favorite items are going to be actually a weakness policy. Muscle Band, I think, is going to be 100% necessary, and Focus Band, because I think that a Bruiser build is going to be a really, really nice build here for Tsareena. So right now we are just level 4. Let's let this kind of reset. We'll show you just some of the base damage of these early moves. 1,000, I had a crit in there, though. So, Razor Leaf can do some damage. It's going to be really good to defend against dives. You don't have a lot of range on it or anything. And then your Rapid Spin is about 500 damage, so... now, I have some items on that have boosted that up a little bit, not too much, but they're both decent early moves. Let's go ahead. Level 5, we get Triple Axle. I think this is honestly her best move in the game, and this is what it looks like. So it's 858 damage. It's not a huge amount of damage, but you'll notice that you've covered distance, which is great. You've done it in an AoE, which is nice. And you'll see what happens when we hit level 6 and we actually start to level this up to the next area. We're going to go for a trope kick here. This is, I think, the best combination of things currently in the game is going to be trope and axle. This is the one that I feel like you're flying around on. You're flying here. You're flying there. And everything is very easy to land and very... it doesn't lock you down for any particular period of time. What I want you to pay attention to right now, though, is the bars above my head. They look like boosted attacks. That's because they kind of are, right? Every boosted attack or every time I use an ability that will charge up. It's now running down, right? That's giving me an amount of time that I have to use a boosted attack. Now watch the attack itself down in the bottom right-hand side once I get all the way up there. Everything gets reset and they're glowing. It's pretty easy to know when you've got that boosted going. And so what the boosted does is, it appears to me at least like it does give you more damage overall. But perhaps more importantly, it gives you that other passive ability. Let's go ahead and look at the damage. We'll just use triple axle every time. Triple axle, 890. I'll just use this over here to recharge it. Wait for that to go down. 1400. So I'm doing more damage with my triple axle. But what you can't see very well, because I'm going to have to go take some damage, is that it actually heals you for a ridiculous amount. So let's go ahead and take some damage from this guy. We're even going to let that wear out and just kind of do another two moves right here to get it back up. Again, getting your boosted attack will also, there you go, level it up. Let's look at the heal. Yeah, just about a third of my health bar. A fourth to a third of my health bar. And you're like, oh, that's not that much. That's really not that much at all. Okay, I hear you. We're going to level up now to 9. We're going to grab your Unite move. And I'm going to show you kind of, since we know that our boy up here is fighting, or was fighting at least until he got too low, we're going to show you a bit of how this stuff kind of works in practice. Because the truth is, you're flying around like a ninja right now, doing a massive amounts of attacks, massive amounts of damage, and basically beating up on anything that is in your path. So the amount of, look it up again, the amount of spam that you have available to you with these abilities is absolutely huge. Look, I have it up again. I literally just spent basically the whole time jumping around the map. You're unstoppable, and the kind of moves I've seen so far have been soloing a whole team. Tsareena taking on 3 or 4 people at a time. And the reason why I think that it's so viable for Tsareena is because the kit is just a powerful kit. When you combine the multiple chances of healing with the huge amount of flexibility and movement, you actually end up with this kind of weird situation where I can just kind of flash around the whole entire game. I get more movement when I attack. I get more movement when I use abilities. And so you're basically spending your whole time kind of going around. Oh, I don't know where that went. Did I kill it? It looked to me like it just disappeared. You're basically spending your whole time going around like this, just eating things. An absolute monster. All right, let's show you the Unite ability, though, and then let's go to the next build. Nope, never mind. We got our buddy here, and it looks like you can't Unite Road Tom, which is kind of sad. So, 1, 2, I'm right up in his face, and then I just one-shot him. So that's what it looks like. It's kind of like I said, it's like a Yasuo ult if you ever played that in League. You just do a lot of damage, and you do it in a way where they can't move during that process. So the fact that you can kind of just go around spamming so frequently these abilities because they're up all the time. Look, like it's literally I'm always attacking with an ability or an auto attack. I think that this is one of those Pokemon that is just going to become overpowered very quickly. Let's look at the next path, though. Ooh, I hadn't seen that yet. Oh. All right, we're going to skip the boring stuff. We're going to get right to the fun stuff. Let's just go ahead and level up to level 9 and grab everything that we want, which is going to be Stomp, and it's going to be Grassy Glide. So let's go ahead and show you these guys. That's Stomp right there. So I think these guys synergize really nicely. I think you can mix and match them, which you can do with all Pokemon, but this is Glide, so that's hitting it twice. It does kind of have this range where you can kind of see that it's out and then back in. So it's a dash, and then it's also a kick back. So what kind of I feel like happens is you can actually get a lot of, it's a low cooldown, and you can get a lot of pressure here by doing it. But it does do less damage. And what I kind of see happening, especially with Stomp, look, Stomp is so different from Triple Axle. It's a lot weaker feeling. So let's let this reset real quick. This is Stomp. It's less damage by a long shot. And the hindrance doesn't really seem to be that strong. It's not showing up as hindrance either way. But it does say that it's supposed to have a hindrance there. Now, it does heal you. And so what I kind of think is actually happening here is that Grassy Glide is really nice positioning. And I think Stomp is really nice, assuming that you're able to lock somebody down with it. We're going to use that just to make sure we use it. Hop in there. Eat. Oh, I actually double jumped. I didn't even mean to. The double stomp was pretty hilarious, though. And right there again. But that's kind of what Tsareena does. Tsareena is just goofy in that way, where you kind of get like these extra attacks and these extra abilities. I think that's where the strength of this build would be, is using movement, using your kind of strength to hop in there, and then just demolishing a group of people while using the heal on your stomp. So, that's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. I must say that I do love it. I think I actually canceled my knockback right there on Grassy Glide, which I did not know was possible, but yeah, I just did that again. So you got to be careful, I guess. You can cancel that. It's kind of good that you can cancel it, because you don't always want to necessarily do that, but yeah, it's just this Pokemon is really strong. It is, frankly, very powerful and very easily manipulatable right now. It does a ton of damage. What you want to be making sure that you're doing is just constantly charging stuff. So we'll knock him back, and we'll stomp him, and we'll knock him back again, and we'll stomp him again. Like, look how quickly you charge back. I think that that's probably the strength of this kind of playstyle, is that you're really constantly using your abilities when you have such low cooldowns on them. Oh, got to be careful of that. But yeah, so really, really strong. Make sure that you know that you can also move while the stomp is still going down. So that's something as well to keep in mind. But yes, I think that this build, this playstyle is more when you're trying to disrupt a lot of enemies, and not so much when you're trying to have a forever fight, right? So the forever fight is more like is when you're using Axel, I think. It's just nice because you can just fight for literally ever. It doesn't matter because you can still fight forever because you're Tsareena. And that's really what I kind of want to get to you guys today, is that this Pokemon's OP. Really, really strong right now. They've nerfed Lucario, and they've replaced it with better Lucario. So get yourself Tsareena. It's free. And get in there and do some games. Let's go ahead and tell you the best items, and then let's go ahead and show you some high-tier gameplay. Okay, we're going to go through and just rank them all here in a tier list. Aos Cookie, C tier. Assault Vest is not very good on anybody. D tier. I think Attack Weight has some value here. One thing that you do need to keep in mind, though, maybe even B right now, because scoring shield hasn't been nerfed as far as I can tell, but scoring has been. You used to heal a lot. They've nerfed the scoring a little bit. One of the few Pokemon that I think Buddy Barrier is not that great on. I don't think you need it. Maybe it's B tier because it keeps you alive, when you ult. But I really don't think that it's... most times a Buddy Barrier is an S or A tier here. D tier there. D tier here for Amplifier. D tier for XP share. These are not good. Floatstone. Floatstone has some stats that she benefits from. The speed is good. But the problem with Floatstone is that it's never going to be up. You have to spend 8 seconds out of combat, and with Tsareena, you're always in combat. Focus Ban, S tier. Focus Ban is good anyway, but with a Pokemon that focuses on bruiser long-term fights where you're in there fighting for forever, it's especially good. D tier here for leftovers. Muscle Ban, I think, is nearly a 100% must-have. I think that there's a C tier here for Razor. I've practiced with Razor. You do so much ability spamming that you actually get it up a lot. You really do. And so that's why I think it's probably B tier. However, I think that there's a better build than the Assassin build, but you can do it. Rocky Helmet's pretty bad there. Scope Lens, I think, is probably S tier. Score Shield is probably, or A tier. Score Shield's an A tier because Score Shield's great. Love the cooldown reduction from Shell Bell, but hate everything else. Special attack specs, no. And I think Weakness Policy is the next S tier for this Pokemon. So this is where I would put it. Please let me know if you disagree and why, because, you know, still fairly new Pokemon, and there's going to be new builds that come out. Attack weight is nice for this Pokemon. Getting some flat attack is good because you do use a lot of abilities. Pokemon that use a lot of abilities benefit very nicely from flat attack. I think the Muscle Band with the build, with the first build we did, the Axle and the Glide, I think, would be better than an attack weight because you spend more time auto attacking. But that being said, in the more of like the I'm in the middle of you all the time build, you might get some more benefit from an attack weight. Basically, if you're going to be auto-attacking more often, Muscle Band, Scope Lens makes a lot of sense. Your abilities do not crit with Tsareena, so Scope Lens is not A tier in my opinion. In fact, it's possible this is probably maybe closer to where it should be. But regardless, those two are pretty close right there in the middle. I love Weakness Policy here. You're spending so much time fighting. You're going to be fighting for hours. You're going to be fighting for days, and getting an extra 10% bonus attack to your base attack, which benefits your autos and your moves, sounds like a no-brainer here for all the builds. So this is my personal favorite build right now. The extra damage on hit from Muscle Band, the Focus Band to keep you alive, get you back up, kind of help you with that re-heal and fight everybody mentality, and this because it stacks so easily on you. Next is going to be Score Shield, which is still good just in general, and an attack weight. I think Scope Lens, Buddy Barrier, Razor is next. Aeos Cookie. I mean, you could do an Aeos Cookie, Score Shield, Focus Band build and just become an absolute monster in the middle. But, you know, I don't think it's the best build. Floatstone, it would be great. Not great, but would be good, decent at least, if it wasn't for the fact you're always fighting. And these guys are fundamentally useless, I think, on her. So, you know, you can make the argument for Amplifier to be in C tier, maybe, if you're going really tanky and maybe you want an Assault Vest. But I really think that this is what you're looking at here for the best items for Tsareena. All right, let's show you some Masters gameplay. I'm not going to play myself because right now if you get into a game as Tsareena in anything that's not ranked, basically, people will AFK on you, and it can take you a lot of games. So I'm going to show you the real pros playing Tsareena. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. Okay, so we are watching SARS, or it could be TARS. I'm not really quite sure here, playing in a High Masters ranked game. This is High Masters. And looks like solo top. And I think solo top is viable here, actually, for this Pokemon. Right now, you're really weak early. Unlike a Lucario, who is really strong at this stage of the game, probably even still. Oh, yeah, you got to be careful, my dude. Okay, they're going to do this old switcheroo. They're saying, I'm just going to score. You're just going to score. We're just going to steal each other's farm. I think that this is pretty reasonable. But basically, I think that a Tsareena, you need that level. Ooh, Talonflame, maybe? Looking like maybe trying to do something. They're just going to steal all of each other's XP, but it looks like Talon wants to come in here and force... Oh, he stole that, and it's not looking good. A little bit of heal, but it's way less than it used to be. Focus Band being used here by Tsareena, and looks like that's going to be a quick kill right there for them. So, are they going to be able to stop this at all? No. That's going to be a lot of points. 60 points nearly going into top lane, and they actually are going to get some extra XP as well up there. Not great. So let's go back to Tsareena. Tsareena, I think, just kind of got out-rotated more or less in this one. So Lucario got nerfed, but Lucario is still very strong. Lucario is still Lucario. It's important to keep that in mind. A lot of people have been playing Lucario a lot as well. Oh, look at the damage from Tsareena there. Does get eaten, but a decent amount of damage. It's just Zeora. I'm not really impressed with the Tsareena so far. I think just a little bit of unfortunateness, as Tsareena has been kind of with a pretty weak jungler, early jungler, and fighting against some really strong enemies. So there you go, a good kill right there, securing the kill on that Zeora. Good rotation by Tsareena. Tsareena now has double buffs, which is great. But man, is that Gardevoir really behind right now? So I think going for the dunk makes sense here. I think you actually get the level off of it. No Score Shield here on Tsareena, unless they may have accidentally double tapped. And now level 6. This is where the fun begins. So the lane is lost up top. Yet again, Lucario is showing some real dominance here. But it looks like, ooh, so that's not the build path that I would go for. I don't like the kick plus the spin kick, but it looks like that's what this Tsareena has gone for here. I don't know if there's an optimal one, theoretically, but I do know that this is not the one that I think is optimal. So, I think that the kick back, basically, it's nice to have the hindrance, but the kick back, it leaves a lot to be kind of desired. Okay, big rotation happening towards bot. Missed that. Actually missed the kick right there. Another double right there with the Axel, which I think is easily the best one. Good kick that was focusing on getting that that kind of out of position support player. Good job dodging right there from the blue team support. And then a decent kick back into a... Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. Just running all around, causing major mayhem. Good kick back there as well. So Tsareena doing really nicely, keeping themselves up, and is currently on the Dreadnought, ready to start kind of doing some damage. Tsareena saying, I really don't want to tank this, guys. I want to be over here for when I need to make those plays. So right side team gets that, a little bit unfortunately for Tsareena, but it looks like they can still win this fight. So, and indeed they do. Lucario up in top, though, securing the other objective for Orange team is going to put Purple team pretty far behind. So Tsareena here going for, again, a different build than I would, but showing some really early dominance and some real survivability. Tsareena saying, I probably have to get out of here now. Some CC on the Zeora, but goodness, you're low. I think it's quite possible that the right play for Tsareena there may have been to actually go back in instead of take that additional attack from range from that Venusaur. Tsareena has a lot of turnaround potential if you have your ability up, which she does now, right? So the next ability she uses is gonna set her up for her big ability, and I think that was just I think she could have probably gotten some kills there. I think that she may have misplayed a little bit there and focused too much on trying to dodge and not enough on trying to fight. And a lot of times, a lot like Lucario, you got to be careful with Lucario because Lucario can turn it on you in a heartbeat, and Tsareena is the same exact way. When you have when you've got yourself stacked up and you're ready to use, like right there, you're ready to use your boosted ability, you need to be making sure that you're planning it. You got to know which one you're going to be using there. Going for that instead of securing the kill, I think is okay because Petal Dance Venusaur is ridiculously hard to catch. Going up towards mid, but bot is spawning another Dread. Definitely pretty far behind overall in pressure here. Oh, not the greatest kick right there. Uses the invincible kick to lock down the support, which is a great call. And then is now going for their carry, which I think is a pretty good play overall. They do get the Eldegoss. It was kind of close there for a second. And a lot of pressure is on the map now for this team. You got to be willing to fight this guy, though. Yeah. Oh, man. That's in a pretty nasty place to be right now. Oh, potion being used there. Tsareena, in this case, has gone for a potion. I don't really agree with that necessarily. But, wow, look at the healing that Tsareena got. The healing plus the Dreadnought that Tsareena got coming back through, hitting about 5 people right there in that grouping. You got to get another one. Use it again. You have it. Oh, that was not the right call, in my opinion, to be using... She used the kickback instead of Axel, and I think Axel would have healed her and probably killed both of those players for her. So perhaps a little bit unoptimized use right now. Again, it's important to keep in mind, guys, this might be high pro, a high Masters League right here, but it's also important to keep in mind that that Tsareena is still a very new Pokemon. So going up to the top to help defend against this Rotom, really they should let the Rotom run in. Good mobility. You know, just look how mobile this freaking Pokemon is. Dashing everywhere. Low cooldowns, my dudes. Very, very good stuff. Has the stack ready to go and is hopefully looking for the Zeora. I think you can actually totally fight the Zeora here. Got to be careful. I would have used it right off the bat. I would have waited for the Zeora to see if maybe Zeora wanted to do something else here. Oh! Zeora's going to eat you. I think that Tsareena right there used a lot of that power before actually a fight happened and was using it on the mobs, trying to steal that XP. And although I understand trying to steal the XP, I think that it didn't work out very well. Let's see. 3 and 6, not bad. That Eldegoss is kicking butt on blue team. 3 and 6 is not bad, though. Articuno, by the way, in case you don't know, is now the main boss, which is pretty cool. I loved Articuno. Still do. I mean, Tsareena should have been stacking her abilities to get it ready for the big ability before that fight even happened. A good amount of shielding happening right here. A good knockback by both of those players. And it's time for you to finish this. You need to get this kill happen as fast as human possibly. Start attacking. You got to start attacking. You cannot let these guys respawn on you and then come back and steal in the middle. So right now they're kind of like in this weird half fight zone where they're trying, but everybody's up. Lucario and Zeora have now spawned. Now is not the time to be attacking Articuno after we now have 2 spawns we have to deal with. You only have about a minute left now in order to try to secure a win. Good lockdown right there with the ultimate. Love that. And using Buddy Barrier, I think, on this ultimate is it's a good one. It's not like it's a bad move. I just don't think it's necessarily the best move because your Unite ability is not up very frequently. Not as frequently. Stop. Stop. Please. Please just. Oh, no. That was a pretty obvious move right there. Yeah, you got to go and secure this main objective now, my friend. Left side team gets it. They have a lot of points. They now have to go ahead and try to dunk as many as possible. Lucario would be most best served by actually going to dunk. Lucario is instead farming. Oof. Use your spin. Spin. Why didn't you use your spin? You had it up. If you were looking pretty carefully right there, you would have seen that the timer was ticking down for ability right there, for the boosted ability. And so the 100% way to get that dunk right there, which is 50 frickin' points, would have been to go ahead and just use your spin, gain that back in health, and then you get the insta. So I do think that was a misplay there for sure on Tsareena's part right there. So could have absolutely gotten that. Whoa. Well, I think that they won. I gotta stop looking at the score, but I think some things we could actually learn from right there. Again, it's very possible that was the first battle ever for that Tsareena player. So just because you're high masters doesn't necessarily mean that you have experience with that Pokemon, or maybe even with that style of Pokemon. Overall, Tsareena, very strong right now. Go get your hands on Tsareena. I think you will not be disappointed. All right, peace.
Yes.